Hello everybody, welcome to 5 ideas for light aquifers in Dwarf Fortress. In this video I am going to go over a few things that you can do with light aquifers, because I have had a lot of questions why the hell you should even bother with these, and because I really like them, I want to summarize a couple of the things that you can do with these. So some of these are more obvious than others. I hope that there will be 1 or 2 new ideas for you. The first one is one very simple one. You can use a light aquifer to create a well. It's just simple as that. You go into the aquifer layer and then you dig out a chamber, preferably 2 levels deep. If you want to have it only 1 level deep, make sure you dig down and then you replace the ground with some floor out of the construction menu. That's because if you only go 1 Z level down, you might risk having mud in the water. If there's floor on the ground, water cannot be muddied. If you are 2 Z levels deep, mud will also not be extracted from the well. It's up to you how you want to resolve that. It's a pretty easy and simple concept, allowing you to create water in environments where it's harder to get water, and most importantly, this is a hermetically sealed environment. There can be no outside intruder coming through your water supply via a aquifer well. That's a really big benefit. So number 2 goes into a similar vein. You can use the aquifer's water for the sake of irrigation. So here I carved out a tunnel and I sealed off one little bit of a staircase with a hatch. That hatch is linked to a lever, and if I switch off on that lever, the water will splash down into this room, muddying it. You can of course transport that water several levels deep as far as you want to go with it. Here I just went 1 Z level downwards, but if I'd be transporting that water, say, course over many Z levels, I could do an irrigation wherever I want to without any surface water or the requirement to channel your surface water downstairs to the underground areas. I find that very easy, cheap, and a cool way to do irrigations, although there are lots of other ways to do it. The light aquifer's main benefit here would be if you would be in an area where getting water from the surface would be dangerous. A evil biome crosses my mind as the first thing, where you really want to seal off your fortress from everything that comes from the surface. This would be a nice idea to do this. Number 3 is a cheap man's waterfall. So what I did here is I went from here down to there, carved out a room that has lots of water generation, carved out two stairways in the area where a lot of people traverse, and went further downstairs, and here I dug a drain. So this goes all the way to the map's end, and the map's end is then smoothened and carved into fortification. This way the water can exit the map on this side. Really important, but the main benefits here are clearly visible. The water falls down from here all the way down to there and leaves the map then there. And as you see here already, there's mist spreading from this crash. The mist happens on all Z levels at the same time. So if the water falls down 10 Z levels, you have 10 Z levels of mist generation, as far as I've understood things so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. The gist of it is here you have a poor man's mist generator. You don't need energy for it, you don't need maintenance for it, you just need to carve downstairs from a aquifer layer and just make sure that the water has some way to exit the map, and you're donezo. That's a really simple way of creating a waterfall, and it spreads happiness very easily, and it's very controllable because the light aquifer's water generation is very low, and this way, if it's not producing fast enough, carve out more squares. If it's too much water exuding downstairs, make your drain wider. It's really easy to get a feeling for water mechanics with this one as well. It's a pretty good training thing. So, number 4 is a method of creating a water trap with your aquifer water. So here, this is one let's say this would be one alternative entrance for the enemy, and as you see there, I built up a little bit of a reservoir. This could be, of course, larger. You can do this as you want to, and it's pretty simple. I have an upstairs area where I try to get the most water out of the aquifer as possible. Generally said, as you see here, every staircase drops the water further downstairs, and here I'm collecting it. This takes quite some time until a drowning chamber like this is filled. It can even take an entire year, but it's free, it's a cheap source, and all you need are a couple of pressure plates to activate that thing when intruders enter, and then you can flush them out. Just make sure that the water doesn't flow into the rest of your base, like here. So put up a wall and a door to save it up, and make sure that you can, after you're done with it, flush it out into a drain. Something like here. You could. My solution would be to let the water flow from here, then downstairs into that drain. It's up to you. Just make sure when you do a drowning trap, always take into account that you need to get rid of the water afterwards when you're done killing stuff. Now, that's all I want to say about that. Let's get on over to number 5, a washing trench. So your dwarves use water to wash themselves. So when there's something like that here, so they will use that water to clean their shoes and the like. What I did here is a very, very simple thing. I took the water from here, I went from there, downstairs, carved out a chamber here for water generation, and then I went downstairs, transportation route, and then going downstairs even further, and this is what I call a washing trench. The water falls down from here, flows towards here, falls down here into the drain. What's the good thing about that is a small body of water will be allowing your dwarves to wash themselves. Why is that so important, you might ask yourself? First off, being clean makes them happy, being dirty makes them unhappy. You can also fit in a stockpile zone with soap in the vicinity, and there's a nice chance of them getting clean, by the way. The doors here prevent that the water is sputtering left and right, and it keeps flowing through here. And most importantly, this removes stains from boots. If you haven't had the experience yet with blood of ancient or forgotten beasts that has strange side effects, you might not even know why you want that, but I'll give you a slight spoiler, and just turn off the video if you don't want to. There are creatures out there which have blood that's outright super deadly. I've heard reports of people destroying fortresses by having some contaminated blood spreading through their fortress. These little water trenches prevent that. If you imagine that this would be the entrance to your caverns and everybody leaving the caverns had to cross this water trench first, you have a really nice safety thing to make sure that no contaminants will enter your base, and it also keeps your dwarves clean and happy. So, I hope that these 5 ideas brought you to some friendship with the aquifers. I imagine that 1 or 2 already are known to you. I really hope that this was something new for you, and feel free to drop me in the comment section your ideas that I haven't come up with, because I'm pretty sure that there's even more you can do with the light aquifer. Feel free to drop me a thumbs up on that video if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing, of course. Daily content coming up from my side. I'd be super happy to have you. Big pointer towards the link in the description box to the playlist. So there's a lot of other Dwarf Fortress stuff that I did. Check it out if you haven't had enough of that. And a thanks to the supporters of this channel. You are really doing a lot of heavy lifting lately. Big thanks for that. Links down there to Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee are ways and means to support this channel, and I'd be super happy if you'd give them a look. If not, take my thanks for bearing through this ad roll with me. I really mean that. It's something special, because that means you're actually interested in these videos so much that you're still hanging around. That's pretty cool of you. So, see you guys next time, and I hope that you will tune on in the next time as well.